Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rita. I'm part of the programs team here at the Wood County Committee on Aging. I have gotten several requests for this program, and I'm really excited to introduce Jon here, who is the Director of Marketing and Communications for BGSU Dining by Chartwells. Did I get that right, Jon?
Yes, you did.
Wonderful. So we want to know about those robots. So if you guys are local BG folks, or if you've heard of these because they've been on the news, we get to learn more about how they came here and what they do. So Jon, please take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have a little PowerPoint that'll help me out a little bit.
Great. Let me enable.
Perfect.
There you go.
All right. So we're going to share my quick PowerPoint. And thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really glad that I could join today. So we're going to go through, learn a little about the robots. A lot of you may have seen them, which is super fun. They actually got onto campus last March 2nd, 2020. So it's been a little over a year now. We're super excited about that. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of context of kind of what the experience is, the company that Starship is, then kind of how we've used them on campus. So first image, I always love this picture just because it's a lot of fun that we were able to take. Actually, it was right prior to the pandemic. Freddie and some students in one of the Starship robots. So we had a good time. So we'll move forward. So Starship Technologies, that's actually the company who helped bring the robots on campus. They were founded in 2014. They are kind of designed as, we call it as like the last mile delivery service. So kind of if you think of food delivery just in general, not so much like a FedEx or a USPS or anything like that, but just something that's kind of like, oh, it's at the store, it's at the restaurant. We just need to get to that last little bit. They're actually developed in Estonia, which is really cool, but they're headquartered in San Francisco, and they've been tested in, this actually is a little bit old because of the pandemic. They were in way more cities. So I think it's about 200 different cities in about 25 different countries, if I remember correctly. So they've definitely been expanding, which is fun.
Wow.
So the way they got on campus is a public-private partnership. So the public side was Bowling Green State University, and then the city of Bowling Green. We worked with them a ton when it came to making sure that we were following all the guidelines that we needed, all the health and safety, all those sort of things. But also the private side is the Chartwells Higher Education, which helps support BGSU Dining by Chartwells. It's kind of our parent company, and then also Starship Technologies. So all four of these groups sat down and were like, hey, this is something really cool that we can do. How can we make that happen? And then through a lot of work and time, you started seeing those little robots on TV and in your neighborhoods and all those sort of things. So it was really fun. We actually started March 2nd, like I mentioned, in 2020. Then obviously the pandemic kind of took hold in this area, which lockdowns and everything, but we were able to expand, I believe it was April 22nd, to the overarching community. I've got a map of all the different places where you can order Starship from if you're in the community at a little bit in the presentation, but just as a kind of fun addition, we've got that. Great. So my favorite thing to talk about is the frequently asked questions. I think these little guys are cool. I've been working with them a lot now, and it's super fun. So just some of the specs, they actually weigh about 45 pounds. They can deliver up to an additional 20 pounds, which is really fun. They can only go about 4 miles per hour at their max speed. So when they're tugging along across campus or in the city, you only see them go about that far, or about that fast. Rated for snow and winter conditions because they were created in Estonia, which is kind of a snowy, colder place, but also one of the first cities that they tested it was in Madison, Wisconsin. They're actually at the University of Wisconsin up there, was one of their first college, or one of the first universities who had them. So they definitely can do it. The only thing we have to make sure is that we let people, or let the city, let the campus ops on BSU's campus clear off the roads, do a little bit of salt, and they're good to go. And overall, the fleet traveled, they've gone over 200,000 miles. And I think this number, if I remember hearing correctly, they're going to announce their next big milestone in the next few months. So they're really excited about that. I think they're getting close to either 500. I think they're getting pretty close to, across all of the world, they've traveled over 500,000 miles. So how they work. So each robot, it's the way I love to describe it. It's the most technologically advanced cooler you'll ever see. So the inside is just a padded cooler. It looks just like what you would have maybe at your own house. That we also have some cup holders in there. Then the rest of the entire body is just sensors. So there's 10 different types of cameras. There's a GPS unit on there. There's ultrasonic sensors that help it kind of feel around and see if it's getting close to a wall or close to a person. It has radar, and then it has a couple of other sensors that they won't even tell me what they do, but all those work together to make it so it can act and see pretty much by itself. It uses artificial intelligence. So think about kind of all the things you see about Tesla or cars that can drive themselves. That's kind of the idea. So when things are working perfectly, that artificial intelligence system can recognize when it's getting too close to a person, when it's getting close to its destination, and then it lets the person who ordered it know. It's just through an app, just like you would see on a cell phone, where you can plop in your information, say you want to get a burger from Steak and Shake on campus, and tell it where you want it to deliver. And as long as it's delivering in a safe place for the robot to go, it'll just start the process and get going. It is actually human intervention. So sometimes the artificial intelligence just comes into a situation that it can't figure out what to do, whether it be a difficult, or I know one of the big ones is the during trash day. When they still can't seem to figure out what to do.
Yes,
trash cans.
We've seen this.
Yep.
When we were at our old location there. We were in downtown Bowling Green, and it had trouble getting around it. So, but we saw someone come through and just move the can.
Yep, absolutely. So that happens a lot. There's also other different things of if they come to the intersection that's a little difficult, what it'll do, it basically raises a digital hand, and then there are operators at remote control setups, kind of like you'd see video game console or something like that, that maybe your kids or grandkids play, and it will basically give control to that person, and then they can control the robot to get them through whatever the sticky situation is. So I know when I was in, when we were first learning about these, we went to the University of Houston, and we watched one of those operators go from, I think there was one in New York City, and he helped that one out. There was, after he got that robot situated, he went to Berlin, Germany, and helped that one out. And then like the third one I think he went to was someplace in the United Kingdom. I can't remember which one it was. But the operator said it's super fun job to just kind of go through and like help the robots out. We also said he learned a lot about different countries' traffic laws, which I thought was hilarious. If he's going to help, since they're all over the world, if he's going to help in different places, he has to make sure that he knows what their traffic laws are and like how to each situation, which I think is fun.
I never would have thought about that.
I didn't either. It was so cool. And then there's also an on-site team. So Starship has a group of engineers and then also student employees who help the robots out. So if they get stuck somewhere, if the wheel falls off, if they get knocked over, whatever it is, they've got a team that's on call anytime the robots are out that can go help them out. So I know one time one got caught on it was a water hose, like a water hose. It just like was stuck and it couldn't get off it. And no matter how they tried. So then about 5 minutes later, after I gave him a call, because it was in a place that I wasn't sure if I should go and mess with them or not, the on-site team came and took care of it and just got the robot good to go. So it was kind of fun. One of the other questions we always get is about security, if anybody's trying to steal one, because they are kind of that right size.
Right.
They have robot LoJack is the best way to call it. So if anybody messes with them, tries to fix them up, there's actually like 2 or 3 different levels that it'll say like, hey, leave me alone. So it's like, excuse me, I'm trying to make a delivery. If somebody is messing with it or like purposely trying to confuse it. The next one is it says, I need to make this delivery. Please let me do it, or I will have to call for help. And then the third one is this really loud, like I think it's like 120 decibel like alarm that goes off. Thankfully that hasn't happened yet. Most people kind of get the hint after the second warning. But yeah, if somebody tries to pick it up or like is mean to it or like tries to damage it, that alarm will go off and it's so loud.
Wow, I bet.
Yeah. So that's always something interesting. Privacy. I know this is one that we heard a lot at the beginning, but it's kind of cool how they do their privacy. Because those cameras that they have don't actually really retain that much data. They're really just used as like the robot's eyes. I know there is a way legally that they have to provide that in case of like a legal subpoena or something. But they have a very strict like policy when it comes to if police or a police department is requesting that information, they have very strict parameters on what they'll be able to give, and then they also anything that could be identifying for anybody who's not involved in that situation, that automatically gets their face covered, kind of like you'd see on TV, to make sure that everybody's privacy is protected, which I think is cool how they do it when it comes to their system.
Right.
They also do during an average day on campus, they do about 1,000 deliveries per day during the strong part of the semester. So this last year we had 65 robots on campus and in the community, and I'm actually going to go to that community. So this is the map of where the robots currently deliver to in Bowling Green. So you kind of go all the way out to the football field. They can go all the way over to pretty darn close to City Park. They do a pretty good job and pretty wide delivery. The funny part is the issue we run into isn't so much that the robots couldn't go farther, but for food safety, that's as far as it can go from the test that we did before the food starts to get a little iffy if it's still safe to eat.
Right.
When it comes to like the temperatures of the food. So we took a bowl of Panda Express. It was one of their meals, and we put a thermometer in it, and we tracked it the whole way to figure out how far it could go before it started to get to a temperature that we didn't feel was comfortable for like food safety wise. And that's how we kind of figured out what that delivery area would be. Like I said, we've had about 65 this last year because so many people are coming back to campus, which we're super excited about. They're looking at having about 100 within or in service. So we're super excited about that. I just wanted to share a couple of photos before I kind of open it to questions and make it more of a conversation.
Sure.
But so this was for when we opened up to the community. We were able to deliver donuts to the fire department. We also delivered them to the police department. This is another picture that I always love. This last one, and this last one was just one of the first times the robots were going in the actual town of Bowling Green.
Wow.
And that's all I got.
That's awesome.
So let me answer whatever questions like may have came to mind. I always love all the different things that I've heard about them and people's experiences with them. So yeah.
Yeah. So my role here at the Senior Center is technology specialist. So I'm a huge techie. I love this topic in general because I think this is our future, and it can be intimidating with the movies and what's out there, but this is really enabling some really cool things in Bowling Green. So how did Bowling Green get picked, and how were we able to, be part of this project?
Yeah, so this will sound like a joke, but it's actually not, because we're so flat. So the campus of Bowling, when we first started, it was just an on-campus thing, but on-campus Bowling Green or BGSU doesn't have too many cross streets. It has really wide sidewalks that are very level. There was an ample amount of space that we could put the robots. Every college campus has that. So we were already kind of on a list of like, once this technology came out, our company was like, oh, this would be really cool if we could put it in at some of the universities that we serve. And BG was high on that list because of all of those reasons of like, because some universities, I believe the University of Pittsburgh had them for a very short amount of time because it was kind of like pushing the limits of what the robots could do because they have a very hilly campus. So like the robots at Bowling Green can run an entire day without needing recharge. They can actually go a full 18 hours. The robots at the University of Pittsburgh, I believe, couldn't make it through like half of the day because of how hilly and how just like kind of, because their campus is much more integrated into their city. Pittsburgh. So it's definitely interesting to see like what it was. But also we have our supervisor at the time was really into it. Just like, hey, the worst they can say is no. So he
Right.
university, and the university was really excited about it, and it kind of just all like fell into place really easily. So it was super fun. It was a whirlwind, because I think we said, yeah, let's do it, and that was like February 2nd, and everything happened within a month of getting on and getting everything mapped and the whole thing. So it was really cool.
That's incredible. So was it always the plan to engage, to have the robots be able to serve the community like it does, or was it originally just planned for BGSU?
It was originally just planned for BGSU, but we knew that was our goal, was to move it farther. It was just one of those things where we were trying to get our feet under us before we went to that, and then the pandemic happened. So students left. We had a small amount of students on campus who used the robots, because beginning of the pandemic, we weren't sure what was going on. So we did a lot of contactless, so students could order things from our facilities to where they were living. In some of the residence halls, we had some international students who couldn't go home, and some other students who weren't able to due to lockdowns. But then with that, we got a lot of positive feedback, and some of the city reached out. They're like, hey, is this possible we don't know how far they can go, but like for everybody who's living in the community who might be worried, like another option for contactless delivery and those sort of things. And we were like, yeah, well, let's see. And Starship and the city of Bowling Green were super, super awesome to work with, because everybody was kind of on the same page of really working together, which I think was super fun to see as well. Just really getting into it. So
it was just really perfect timing, I think, to launch it.
Yeah.
And the community seemed to really accept it very well.
Yeah, for sure. I think the most fun I've seen in the community is during the first part of the pandemic, when people were kind of not sure what they were going to be doing for entertainment. We kept getting reports of parents going on robot safaris, and they'd put all the kids in a van, and then they'd drive around for a certain amount of time and see how many robots they could find.
Yeah.
So that was I always love that story, because it was just like something to distract from all the things that COVID brought. So
Right. I love that. So when people, if within that map range, which I do believe is on a website, or can they see that map if they're eligible through the app?
Yes, they can. Yep. So if you just search Starship Deliveries, you'll find that it'll ask you first thing like, oh, where are you close to? And it'll say Bowling Green. So you'll do BGSU, and then it'll show you all the places in Bowling Green that are safe to deliver to. Some places like don't have the right type of sidewalk, but you only have to walk maybe 20 or 30 feet. We actually ran into, we have people outside of that circle, or outside of that delivery, who will then deliver it to the park that's out by the police station.
Yeah.
And they'll drive to the robot with the timing, because it'll like in the app, it'll say your food will arrive in 10 minutes or whatever, and then it'll give you a warning. So people do that. And when we had Dunkin' Donuts on campus, we're actually opening in Einstein's bagels, so we'll be able to do the same thing this fall, which we're super excited about, and that'll be on the robots. But people would meet their robot at a parking lot or whatever, get their food and keep going, which I thought was, but hey,
it's kind of nice if they don't want to go on campus to park.
Yep, for sure.
They still want something that's on campus. That's really very clever. So
yeah, it was fun.
So the way, for those that are watching, that you would need some kind of smart device. Would that, be a smartphone or a tablet with Wi-Fi? If it can deliver to your home, you would need a constant internet connection, right, John?
Yep, that's it.
And so through the App Store for Apple products, or through the Play Store through Android products, you would have to search for Starship
Deliveries. Yep.
Okay. And so by downloading this free app, it'll take you through, and you can do what he said, which is basically let it find your location. So it knows that you're in the Bowling Green area. And then it can determine what's the closest spot it can deliver to, which could be at your house, or you may, like he said, have to go to a parking lot. And it's really fun. When we were during the pandemic, when we were at our old location on Main Street, we would take advantage of this all the time. And the app is incredible in that it tells you exactly where the robot's at, how far away, And we were able to really pinpoint exactly where to drop off, even on like the which side of the building to drop off the goodies. And so tell us a little bit about the greeting. How do we open up that thing? How can people, who are not ordering it, can they open up the robot?
Nope. So it works by when you have it on your phone and it says it's here, you'll actually walk to the robot, and then it can sense that you're close to it because of how the technology works with your phone. And it'll be like, and it'll tell you swipe to open. And then when it does that, the robot will actually speak to you and say, here's your delivery. And then you'll hear it unlock, and then you open it just like a cooler. There's a little thing that just says open here. So you just pick that up, and then you can pull your food out. And then once you close it, it'll say, thanks, have a great day. And then it takes off.
It's very friendly.
Yeah, it's extremely friendly. It's super fun to watch that whole process, because when people were first starting to do it, it was just a lot of fun to see people's reaction to how like polite the robot was and those sort of things, and how one of the things on campus, everybody wants to name them, which we want to name them too, but Starship was like, oh, well, we don't want to put names on them because then they'll be favorites and all that sort of stuff. So it's always funny because we'd love to get like name tags put on them.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, they have a collection of things that have been put on the robots. So like Santa hats and bunny ears and Google eyes and all this other stuff that's been put on the robots over the years. So it's super
very, very cool. Now, maintenance wise and cost of these devices, what is the general cost for one of these robots?
So they won't tell me the full cost, but the way it kind of worked is the university pays Starship, I think it's 10% of every sale. So if you buy $10 worth of Panda Express, it costs the user $1.99 for just like the delivery fee. So think of it like a tip for your normal delivery driver. I think it's 10% of the overall cost of it. Also is a fee that they take from the university. That's basically it. So and it's also cool because it's a newer company. They're still kind of working out some of the kinks, so they're able to do that. And so when it came to the actual cost of the university, besides the service fee and then that delivery fee, cost the university like $10,000 to get all of the like electrical equipment, because they take a certain type of electrical hookup. And like a few other things that the university had to provide. So it was super easy for the university to just like make this happen. And of course, it's really popular with the students as well. So they want to try to keep it. But yeah, it works primarily on the service fee and then also a delivery fee. And that covers the cost of the robots. I asked one of my engineer friends who works for, he doesn't work on the robots. He's mechanical engineer, I think it was, like give me the best estimate. I think he said like, his best guess was like $30,000 per robot from like what he could see. So that's the number that I like to say, but it has absolutely no, actual numbers behind it. So who knows?
Well, the AI technology and the cameras, there's a lot that goes into that. And for something this complicated, to be able to cross traffic, to cross streets, I mean, that requires quite a bit. And the fact that it's only 40 pounds, 45? 45
yeah, 45 pounds. And then it can have an additional 20 pounds of stuff.
That's incredible. I mean, truly, if you think about how far we've come in general with technology, the fact that this is capable of doing it is really great. And I think it's a really good opportunity for Bowling Green to do something new and be part of some, the future of technology.
For sure.
Liesl, do you have any questions or anything to follow up?
No, but it's really been interesting.
Yes. Have you experienced a delivery from the robot, Liesl?
We live outside Grand Rapids, so I don't think they'll come that far.
No.
Unfortunately, not yet.
I wish.
You never know where the technology will take us one day.
That's true.
That's true.
Well, John, I cannot thank you enough. I think
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
an incredible topic, and we're really lucky that you were able to come speak with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. More than happy to. If anybody has any additional questions, feel free to share my contact information. I always like answering the random questions that come in about it. So go ahead.
Great.
That I'm always happy to help. And anything else that I can do when it comes to programming or anything, just let me know. I'd be happy to help.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody
Very
has a
welcome.
great day ahead.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Bye.